Hey guys, welcome back to Ask Snes. Hope you're all well today. Okay, so here we go. A lot of questions as usual, so it's going to be interesting. Hope it'll be a good variety as well, I think, by the look of it. So let's get straight into it. And the first set of questions from Keith Hewitt. And first question from Keith. Does Nintendo's NX mean anything to you? Hope so. They've just released news about it. Yeah, I know that Blue Tonic has also asked a question about this, so that'll be coming up in a minute. The NX, yeah, basically Nintendo have announced this week they're going to be moving into the mobile tablet phone market, and they're also having a membership situation that's coming up, so that's going to obviously replace Club Nintendo. And they also said they're going to be doing a brand new dedicated gaming platform called codename NX. Now obviously at the moment there's no information at all, no one knows what this is. So there's a lot of rumours going around on the internet apparently. There's people saying it might be VR, people saying it might be a console, it might be a handheld, it might be the rumoured combination of both handheld and consoles they've talked about in the past. Too early to tell. I think it's really good that they have announced it. I'm actually surprised they've announced it so early. But then again, it makes sense if they're going to say they're going to the mobile market to turn around and say, well, actually, don't worry, we are still making machines, and we still make consoles and handhelds, etc. And just to make sure you're aware of that, this is what the codename of the next system is going to be. Because I'm sure a lot of fans would have thought otherwise. Oh God, they're getting out the game, they're going to mobile. I'm surprised, I've said before, I never thought they would ever go to mobile. Didn't think it would work for Nintendo, so that's really quite impressive, and it shows that they have really had to think about their business strategy, I think. So yeah, that's really cool. In terms of the NX console itself, well, wait and see. I still reckon it's going to be 2017. I don't think we'll see it before then. If we do, I'll be quite impressed. I just don't really see it. It depends how long they've been working on it. Of course, if they started working on it when the Wii U came out, there's always a possibility it could come out next year. But I would probably say first, maybe second quarter 2017, you're looking at. I mean, they might go to holiday 2017, which I don't really see them waiting until Christmas 2017. It's too long. And by that time, Sony and Microsoft will have had a lot of games out for their systems, both cross-platform and exclusive, and it wouldn't be wise for Nintendo to wait another 2 years if they want to try and compete. But then, having said that, I did say last week that Nintendo aren't trying to compete, which I don't think they are. But this kind of changes that view a little bit, because maybe they are starting to move towards the modern gaming. I watched Kind of Funny Games in the week, and Colin Moriarty made an interesting point actually about whether, because they're moving into the mobile market, and that's a massive market for the younger generation, the kids, maybe the console could be somewhere where they're going, okay, we need to get back on board with the gamers again, and they're just going to put out a console with a normal controller, great games, and make it a bit more challenging and more interesting than the Wii U has been. That would be really cool. I would like to see that, because that's all they need is just a console, a Nintendo console with a normal controller and a great set of games. And if they can do it, get the third parties back on board, do what it takes, throw money at them, kiss some ass, whatever they got to do. And that's all they need to do. It's simple. It's really straightforward. I do worry that they're going to put a gimmick into it. If I just look at the quote from Iwata this week, there was something that he said was just quite interesting. So it says, as proof that Nintendo maintains strong enthusiasm for the dedicated game system business, let me confirm that Nintendo is currently developing a dedicated game platform. Now it says platform, so that could be handheld, could be console, could be something completely different, with a brand new concept under the, that's the thing there, brand new concept. That worries me a little bit, because you know what Nintendo's like. I hope to God they've learned not to put a silly controller in with the console, and it's going to be a standard controller. You don't need to have gimmicks, Nintendo. It isn't working for you, let's put it that way. But you know, we shall see. I'm intrigued to find out what this is about, and we'll see more. Hopefully, if we're lucky, at E3's Nintendo Direct, they'll shed some more light on this project and give us a little bit more of an insight. It's quite fascinating. Does this, of course, mean that the new Zelda is going to get pushed back? Now that depends on when the console's coming out. I would probably say no. I was thinking at first they might do, but I'm thinking probably not now. Because if they've got the console coming out in 2017, it would make more sense to put Zelda out this year, like they've said, on the Wii U. And then in 2 years' time, if they wanted to, they could bring out an up-res, ultra-high definition version and release that on the new console, and everybody would buy it anyway if the game is good, which I'm sure it will be. So likewise with Star Fox as well, if that turns out to be as good as I want it to be, they could do that. But yeah, I'm interested, let's put it that way, but I'm not going to get too excited or anything, because we all know what happened last time. Alright, next question. Do you like wet, 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 wishing I was lucky? I don't know that song, mate. I know Wet Wet Wet, and they're alright, but that song I don't know, to be honest with you. Do you eat breakfast cereal? I don't really dislike it myself. I don't really dislike it. I say you don't, but you dislike it as a comment there. Yeah, I do occasionally if I think so. I try to do it the best I can because obviously in metabolism you need to really get your breakfast in there. And yeah, I don't really push the boat out. It's like Weetabix. At the moment I'm eating Crunchy Nut cornflakes. Sometimes I have raisin wheats, but they're a bit expensive compared to the rest, so it's only occasionally. Last week you said the Wii U is back on track. Is this a hint that you're being lured back to my second favourite console of all time? No. It just means I'm aware of, you know, the Wii U is starting to make traction. Of course, they've announced the new console. Yeah, well, that kind of changes things a little bit, but yeah, it is making traction. I personally am not buying another Wii U. I'm done with it. That's me out of the game. I'm done with Nintendo at this point. But I'm still paying attention to what they're doing because I find the whole industry fascinating, and I love Nintendo as a company. I just don't feel that for me personally at this point, they're the company that I want to support. So I'm hoping that the new NX console will change that. Wait and see. I made a huge mistake with a question on your Q&A recently. It wasn't huge, it was just an error. And I didn't realise it had another meaning. Apologies for that. Ever made a similar mistake? Not that I can think of. I think that particular question was just probably regional or something, I don't know. Because for anyone that doesn't know, I removed the question because Keith asked me to. But Keith asked the question last week, which I didn't answer. The reason I didn't answer it is because I read it, and where I come from, it means something completely different. And Keith did not mean what I thought he meant, which I assumed at the time he didn't mean that. I figured it was a mistake, which is why I didn't read the question out. But yeah, I mean, personally, I've never made a mistake like that I can think of anyway. Don't worry about it, mate. It's fine. It happens. Right, okay. Ever considered becoming a radio DJ? I think you got the right friendly voice for it. I haven't, but yeah, it'd be interesting. The problem I have with radio is the fact that they play too many ads. It's just, I would rather just get on with the music more than just talking and playing ads and things. You know, I'd rather just get on with the tunes. It's alright to just have a bit of banter and that in between, obviously, but sometimes it's a bit much and I just want to hear the music. But yeah, why not? I'd give anything a try at this point. I've ever been mistaken for somebody else. Not that I remember, no. Okay. Great Adventure of the Little Bell Told Cat. I think you asked me about that before and I haven't had a chance to look it up, so I'll have to look that up, mate. What do you think of my free YouTube videos? I didn't actually know you'd made any, Keith, so apologies for that, mate. I'll have a look. When was the last time you used a trampoline? It would have been when I was a child. I have no idea when. I know I did once, but... Oh god, here we go again. Ellen Page or a huge stack of Super Nintendo controllers. Ellen Page all day long. You're decorating. The part of paint is teetering above a My Retro Game box or a signature from Reggie of Nintendo. Which one do you push it towards? The box, because Reggie's the dude, and I'd like to meet Reggie. Never mind get a signature. He's a cool guy. Who would be better at arcade air hockey? Stevie Wonder, Pingu, or Paul Gascoigne? Pingu. I don't know why, just because he's a penguin and he's got, I don't know, he's used to ice. Not that that's really relevant, but yeah. I really think you should start a blog to complement the channel. I really should, you're right. Any further news about this, as I know you're thinking about it? I haven't really given it much thought recently, I'll be honest. I haven't looked into it, but yeah. I'm only trying to motivate myself at the moment. That's the biggest problem, so I need to do something. But yeah, it probably would be a good outlet for me, actually, to be quite honest with you. It's just getting the right format and deciding what I want to do with it. Because blogging is something completely new to me. I wouldn't even know where to start. But yeah, I'll have a look at it. You never know. Okay, have you ever been fixated on getting somewhere? Sorry, on getting something, then been really miserable when you didn't get it? No, I've had times where I've been frustrated. I've lost auctions, especially those times when I was younger in my 20s. I was talking to Dave, Retro Dave Nintendo, about this the other day, how when I used to live in Birmingham and I had lots of money because I had a regular job and a regular income, and I wasn't single, but I wasn't dating. I was sort of, you know, just seeing women now and again. That sounds really wrong, but you know what I mean. I wasn't in a long-term relationship, let's put it that way, in a permanent relationship. Yeah, it still don't sound right, but yeah, anyway. So I had my cash to spend on myself, and so I'd be buying shit all the time, constantly buying retro games and consoles. And there were times like when I'd set my alarm clock, and I'd have to be up for work about 6:30, but I'd get up at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning because an American auction was ending, and I'd want to bid on it. And to get up at that time in the morning to really screw up your time like that, and then to lose the auction, that's kind of annoying. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I'm just too old to be asked for all that anymore. That's buy nows all the way for me now. Okay. What is the most stressful thing about moving house? You know, to be honest, everyone says it's a stress moving house. I never really found it stressful. I've only done it a couple of times. I've only moved 3 times in my life. Me personally, obviously with my family it's different, mum and dad moving, but yeah, I've never really had a problem with it because I'm pretty organised as well, so I make sure that everything's done one in advance, and then like a week before I'm about to move and it's all going to be signed and contracted out. Got all the boxes done, I've got everything packed up, ready to go. Like when I moved down here, I had everything done the week before, and all I had left was my Super Famicom and my PlayStation 3 set up on the TV, so that the night before I could just pack everything up and go. So yeah, I'm pretty organised. I don't really find it a stressful situation. I make sure everything's in place, get everything boxed up, arrange for the van to get everything moved. Yeah, but I'm just a very organised person, so yeah, that's why I don't find it stressful really. Okay, I've been getting so many problems with my posts vanishing on YouTube lately, but still being visible to you. Does anyone else get this problem too? I don't know. I know that some people have said that they've asked me questions. I had one last week. I think it was Lee Metters asked me about 5 questions. Only one of them showed up on YouTube, so it's probably just YouTube being crap, to be honest, Keith. It does happen like that. Every now and again they tweak it and then it just messes it all up. So yeah, but I'm getting the questions. That's the main thing. Okay, what are your thoughts on the Jeremy Clarkson fiasco? I'll be honest, I haven't really bothered to follow it because I didn't really think it was newsworthy. Personally, I think when the facts come out, we'll have more of an idea of what happened. If it's true that he actually hit the guy, you have to question what the bloke said to him to enrage him that much. If it was something stupid, which it seems to be that the food wasn't hot and therefore Clarkson lost his rag, then Clarkson is knocking down a peg and he should lose his job, because we should at least get a final warning, because at the end of the day he's constantly getting in trouble. I actually personally really like Jeremy Clarkson and I love Top Gear. I think the guy's great. But on a personal level, he sounds like he's got above his station and he thinks he's something special these days. And he needs to remember that he's not. He's replaceable just like everybody else. And in any other job in the world, if you were to punch a colleague, you'd be out the door. There'd be no question about it. They'd just sack you. So just because he's a celebrity and a TV presenter doesn't make him any better than the rest of us. So we'll wait until all the facts come out. I think that's the best way with that one. What milk is the best for cappuccino? I don't know what they use. That stuff they use in Starbucks. Great stuff. Thanks for answering my questions. Always very entertaining. Cheers, Kate. What do you think about keeping reptiles as pets? It depends what they are. Geckos and lizards and things, fine. Snakes, no way. There's no way I could be in a house with snakes, because if they got free, screw that. I don't understand why people want them. It's like the same as like tarantulas and that. Why would you want to keep that? Nah. Anyway, thank you, Keith. Next set of questions are from good friend Alex Blue Tonic 78. Thank you, Alex. He finally asked some questions because he always forgets. First question is, a new Nintendo system has been announced. How do you feel about it? Well, I've already mentioned that. Do you think it will be a console in a conventional sense, or perhaps a more futuristic cloud-based system? Do you think they will do anything radical, i.e. do away with boxes and go digital? And if they did stick with the traditional physical format, would you like to see a return of the cardboard box games, or are they a thing of the past? I would say they're a thing of the past, to be honest, mate. In terms of the system itself, that is an interesting question at this point, because as I said before, we don't know if it's a console or handheld, a combination of console and handheld together, or it's a virtual reality machine, which I'm going to put my hat in the ring and say it's not going to be virtual reality. I just think there's too much competition with Morpheus, HoloLens and Oculus Rift. I just don't see Nintendo taking that risk. In terms of something radical, yeah, I probably would have said no beforehand, but now they're actually going to move into the mobile space and they seem to be getting more of a vision of where they want the company to go, and they seem to be understanding from a business standpoint they need to move into that space. I don't know. They're also in this period of gimmickry at the moment where they need to have something that makes their console stand out from everybody else, not realising that you don't need that at all. What you need is great games. That's the thing that sells the console more than anything. You know, PlayStation had Move, Connect on the Xbox. You know, while they're good and I like them, they're not a mass market product because people don't want those things. They want to sit there with a controller and they want to play a great game and have a fantastic experience. That's what everybody wants as a gamer. And so the games are essential, but I do kind of wonder now, because they've been a bit hush-hush about it, and it's a platform and it's got a brand new concept, is it going to be something completely radical that we'd never ever expect? Because Nintendo are good at doing that, coming out with something that you wouldn't expect, whether it be rumble, analog sticks, motion control, weird tablet controllers, whatever it might be, the Virtual Boy. You just don't know, do you? Maybe they've got something really radical, completely fresh and different that no one has thought of yet, that's going to revolutionise the way we play games. I doubt it, but I'd be kind of thinking they might have something on the burner. But I would hope that they just go with a traditional console. As I say, it's too early. Hopefully, what is it now, March, isn't it? In 3 months' time, we've got E3 coming up, so fingers crossed, we'll get more information. If not, it's going to be a painful wait for information. Nintendo aren't exactly great at getting information out, and I mean, they did the direct stuff, but they don't exactly push themselves to speed themselves up. They're always quite slow at getting stuff out. But, you know, they could shock us. You don't know. I always feel like Nintendo Japan is holding back Nintendo worldwide, to be quite honest. I feel like they've got, because of the way they do business over there, it's really restricting Nintendo going forward and becoming more of a modern company and understanding the current gaming world, which is why it's a surprise to me that they're going mobile. I'm absolutely amazed by that. But I think as the older generation of Japanese businessmen in Nintendo start to die off as well, as morbid as that is, the younger kids that are working at Nintendo now are going to get to move up and they understand the Western way of looking at gaming as well as the Eastern way, and maybe they will change things. I don't know, it's going to be an interesting couple of years anyway. I'm really fascinated now, and you know, they've got everybody talking. That's the most important thing, that everyone's talking about Nintendo at the moment, so let's see. Number 2, what do you think this will do for the Wii U? Potential customers are now wholly aware that a new system is in the works, and in the scheme of things, not too far away from a release. On top of that, most of the big developers have long since abandoned ship. Given the size, status and financial backing of Nintendo, do you think that the Wii U is actually the biggest disaster in console history? That's a really good question, Alex. I think for the Wii U, it's going to be fine. I think it's just going to plod along now until, if they release it in 2017, the Wii U will carry on to 2017. It's got Star Fox, it's got Zelda, it's got Splatoon, it's got Yoshi's Woolly World, it's got Kirby's just come out, it's had Toad Treasure Tracker. This year is going to be really strong for the Wii U. And I reckon that E3 they'll announce a load more new games, and next year will be really strong for the Wii U. And I'll probably say that if they're going to bring a new console in 2017, the Wii U will probably be supported through to about 2018, then it might start tailing off. And you'll just have another GameCube situation where it's a console that has a really nice small selection of fantastic titles that people want to play and collect. Yeah. As you say, given the size, status and financial backing of Nintendo, is the Wii U actually the biggest disaster in history? I don't think it is. I mean, probably the biggest disaster is still the Virtual Boy, because it never went anywhere, it just didn't take off. But it's still a really cool device and something that, you know, I really want to own one day because I want to try it myself. So I don't think the Wii U is going to be the biggest disaster. It's hard to say what really is the biggest disaster. I only picked the Virtual Boy because it really didn't go anywhere and it sort of just came out and disappeared. But yeah, I don't think it is. I think the Wii U is just testing to be another GameCube, to be quite honest with you, mate. Okay, I'm sure we've talked about this before, but were you more of a Games Master guy or a Bad Influence guy? I was more of a Games World guy, if I'm honest, at the time, with Bob Mills on Sky One. I used to love Games Master and I really loved Bad Influence, but I was definitely more of a Games World guy because I used to love all the characters like Big Boy Barry and the guy who I can never remember the name of, the pirate guy that used to wear purple. I used to think he was brilliant. And they had all these really cool actors, like, you know, videators, I think they were called. And they used to have the challenges with the kids and everything. And it's really fun to watch and all. When you watch it now, it's really good. Because watching the kids go head to head on Street Fighters and Bob Mills is taking the piss out of the kids, I love that. I think that's so brilliant. It's the problem with today is it's so PC now and everyone's so touchy, you can't do things like that. But back then, they used to have a bit of banter and a bit of fun. And all the shows were like that. Dominic Diamond used to do it on Games Master. It was brilliant. And of course, Bad Influence was more of a magazine show, so it was a bit more professional, and it was more intent on showing you the latest hardware, the latest reports from Japan. So really, you got a nice balance across all three of the shows, I thought. But yeah, I was more of a Games World guy. I love that show. I seem to recall Dominic Diamond was pushing for a late evening Games Master slot in the mid-90s, aimed firmly at the mature gamer. Perhaps gaming wasn't as mainstream then as it is now, so maybe it would not have been a success. But do you think that a gaming show aimed specifically at an older audience would be a success today? Also, given how huge the industry is today, are you surprised that there aren't any major gaming TV channels out there? I used to say that it was odd that there was no channels and shows available for gaming, but I think, to be quite honest, probably the reason is because of the internet, and because we've got so much access to so much media, whether it be YouTube or it be websites like IGN, GameSpot, etc., or blogs, or people like us who are just talking about the games and the consoles that we're buying and playing. I don't really see that there's any need to have a TV channel or a game show dedicated to the industry anymore, because people don't need it. In the past, it was there to provide us the latest information. Like Bad Influence, as I say, used to watch Bad Influence, and Violet Vanilla would be out in Japan showing all the latest information from E3 or Tokyo Game Show, whatever was available at the time. Any press events that had the latest hardware in the show, in the studio to show you. And so nowadays it's kind of irrelevant, because literally, like with Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, websites, all blogs, everything, it's just at your fingertips every 5 minutes of the day. There's just not a time of the day where a new story breaks and you don't know about it. So I don't really see there's any point, which is a shame, because it would be great. I would personally, I would like to see a show aimed at older audiences, which could probably cover a lot of retro and also cover the modern stuff as well, and give a take on it. I've always thought an interesting one would be, and it's very niche, it probably would never happen, it wouldn't ever happen, would be to do a retro gaming TV show. But instead of just doing it like we do, where we just talk about games that we enjoy and that, treat it as if the game has just come out. So go by the timeline of when the games were coming out. And I thought that'd be really interesting to like give it a fresh eye, a look, and just to say like, Super Mario Kart's out next week, and next week watch our show for a full review, and just like do it like it was an old, like a throwback. I think that'd be really cool, really interesting. But you've got to have presenters that understand the medium as well and understand the gaming, because the gaming shows that have come in the last like 20 years have been a bit shit. I mean, the Sky have done it a few times. I had one that I watched with Dominic Diamond on Bravo, which was okay. Violet Berlin's had a couple of okay shows. There was a couple of geezers on Sky One, Two Young Kids. I can't remember what the show was called, but it was pretty crap. And they claimed to be gamers, but quite frankly, I didn't believe them when I watched it. There might have been casual gamers, because they just didn't seem to know much at all. And I think that's kind of important. You need to know about what you're talking about. It's all right having a TV presenter, but anyone can read off an auto cue and present. You need to have some kind of knowledge, some kind of base, so that you actually look like you're interested. But that's what I'd like to say anyway. Right, okay. Over recent years, we've seen that what some may say is the dumbing down of society, with various reality shows such as Big Brother and I'm a Celebrity, to name, sorry, the recycling just turned up, to name just a couple. As insane or as unlikely as it may sound, do you think it's potentially slowly paving the way for more radical shows in the future, such as Rollerball, Big Speedball 2, The Running Man, or The Hunger Games? I do wonder sometimes if we are being conditioned. I was walking around the supermarket the other day and I said to our mum, it felt, which one was it now? Was it Asda? It might have been Asda. No, it wasn't. It was in Morrison's, that was it. And every single, yeah, I'm sure it was Morrison's. Anyway, whichever one it was, every single aisle that we went past, on the end of the aisle, was just stacked with chocolate and cake. And that was it. It was just chocolate, cake, chocolate. And I said to my mum, it's as if the government, for whatever reason, are trying to fatten us up. And you can call it paranoid conspiracy, because it is. But it just felt that way, like the subliminally saying to you, come on, fatty, eat some cake. Want some chocolate? Come on, Easter egg, chocolate, Easter egg. Yeah. Galaxy bar, massive bag of crisps with like 25 packets of crisps in it. It's like, I don't know what's going on, because people have gotten a lot fatter in this country over the last couple of years. And I just wonder if that's the reason why. Because we're just being fed all this crap, because everyone's eating frozen shite, no one's cooking real fresh food properly, and we're just stuffing chocolate. And look at me, I've got loads of weight on me lately. I've put loads on because I'm eating all this crap. And I wonder if, the combination, it started with reality TV dumbing everybody down, then the media got involved, and the media just can't be trusted whatsoever anymore, because they're all a load of lying bastards, and they all just misquote everybody and just twist everything to fit their narrative, so you can't trust anybody. All the newspapers have got allegiances. Like you read the Daily Mirror, and the Mirror is just a Labour paper, so all they do is just slam the Tories constantly with no balance whatsoever. It's just ridiculous. It's just a joke, and we're just being conditioned nowadays to think a certain way, act a certain way, and you cannot feel differently, you cannot act a different way, you cannot have a different opinion to anyone else, because as soon as you do, all of the lefties jump on you and just scream at you and call you racist and every name under the sun, and they just will not accept a natural conversation and discussion about any topic whatsoever. So yeah, I do feel we are being conditioned. As to whether we'll get Rollerball, Running Man or Hunger Games, I would hope to God not. I don't know which one's worse out of them, to be honest with you. Probably the Hunger Games is probably the worst. I'm thinking Running Man, but Hunger Games is quite brutal. Yeah, let's hope it doesn't get to that way. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Right, okay, and finally, as the Trevor McDonald would say, if Violet Berlin offered you a night of passion, oh Jesus, but you had to kiss Andy Crane for 10 seconds, would you? Would it be worth it? He said it would be worth it, surely. Yeah, it probably would actually. Why not? Violet Berlin's hot, so yeah. You nutter. Right. Next set of questions. I've got mate Josh. Thank you, Josh. Made in Sonic 1986 in Australia. But that's a terrible accent. Have you ever watched any documentaries on the universe, like Carl Sagan's Cosmos and Cosmos: A Space-Time Odyssey that aired in 2014? Yeah, the one with no, I'm going to forget his name. Hang on. Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's the one. I did actually. I watched Cosmos when it was on. Well, after it was on, I actually watched it after it'd been aired, because Johnny Depp fan, is it 1344? I think that's it. Jenny, she mentioned it to me ages ago, and so I downloaded it and watched it, and yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. Didn't understand a lot of it, I'll be honest with you. A lot of it goes over my head, but I did find it absolutely fascinating. If no one's ever seen Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson, check it out. It's really fascinating. He talks about evolution and the cosmos, obviously, in the universe, and it's really, really interesting. Great program. What do you think of the universe and space in general? I'm fascinated by it, mate, to be quite honest with you. I've always wanted to know what's out there, you know, what else. There's the program in the UK called Stargazing, which unfortunately I missed last night, with Dara O'Brien and Professor Brian Cox. I always forget his name, which is absolutely fantastic. And I find the universe and the Big Bang Theory and wormholes and, you know, the Einstein-Rosen bridge and just everything, I find it absolutely amazing. And the fact that we keep finding planets just blows my mind. You know, it just shows you that you just really don't have any concept of what's out there, and that we're so insignificant on this little rock. We really are. We might be advanced and, you know, intelligent, but quite frankly, there's so much out there that we don't even know yet, that we haven't discovered. It's fascinating. It really is. How much we'll find out in our lifetime, I don't know, because, you know, we landed on the moon. That was about the end of it. So we need to get some more advancements. We need aliens to make themselves known. That's what we need. What is your favourite sci-fi TV show? Of all time, it would have to be the miniseries from the 80s. Without doubt, the best. I love that show. I've got it on DVD and I watch it every now and again. It's fantastic. So yeah, I definitely recommend people watching that if you haven't seen it. The remake they did in, I think, 2008, I think it was about then. That was pretty decent. They did a good job, but not a patch on the original. Are you a fan of stage shows? Theatre like Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet? I'll be honest, mate, I've never watched one, so I can't comment on that. I find Shakespeare kind of hard to get into, mainly because of the language. It's kind of hard to understand what the hell's going on half the time. Obviously, Romeo and Juliet is pretty straightforward. It's a love story, we understand that. But no, I've never watched one. Something I should really do in my life is watch a stage show, and also watch a musical as well. If you could make a video game, what would you or a group of people put inside of the game? Christ. I don't know. Do you mean like how would I design it, or like an Easter egg for someone to find? I don't know. In terms of design, I've always wanted to do a third-person cover shooter, but like a spy game. So it's not so much sneaking around, because I hate stealth, as I've said many a time, but a lot more investigation and being able to like look at objects, and sort of like the way David Cage does his games. but involve cover shooting as well. That would be the kind of thing I'm kind of leaning towards, because I like that kind of gameplay, the cinematic experience, and being able to investigate and to look at different items, and the way you did in the Order 1886, where you can pick objects up, but a bit more in depth. Yeah, I'd go with that. Out of any TV shows and movies, which ones would you buy on Blu-ray if they were released and they're on top of your list? Christ. At the moment, movie-wise, I've only got a couple I want to get hold of, which are Guardians of the Galaxy and Equalizer. I need to get those. They're in my basket in eBay, Amazon side. They've been there for quite a while, so I need to get those. TV shows, at the moment, there aren't any that are really standing out that I want to buy on Blu-ray. There's a new show started on, what day is it now? It started on Tuesday, which I watched last night, called iZombie on CW. Fantastic show. I'd recommend watching that, guys, if you haven't seen it. Basically, what happens is the lead character, she's a doctor, and she goes to a party, and there's a zombie apocalypse, and she dies, and she comes back as a zombie, and she's hiding her identity so people don't know that she's a zombie, and she joins the pathology department instead. And she finds that when she eats the brains of dead people, she gets flashbacks so she can see how they were killed and who did it. And she also inherits their traits. Like in the first episode, she eats the brain of a woman who's a kleptomaniac. So she inherits that, and she starts robbing stuff. And she can also speak the language that the lady could speak. It's really, really good. I thought the first episode was fantastic. If the show continues to be as good as it is, I'll be buying that when it comes on Blu-ray, because I was really impressed with that one. So that's iZombie on CW. Okay, what is the worst Sonic the Hedgehog game that I've played? Okay, so I haven't played all of the Sonic games. I've played Sonic 1, 2 and 3. I don't think I've played Sonic Knuckles. I played Sonic Spinball, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I played Sonic Colors, and what else have I played? I think that's about it. Out of those, probably Sonic Colors was my least favourite. It wasn't a bad game, but it was nowhere near as good as the Mega Drive game. I would have played Sonic on the Master System, which is absolutely fantastic. In fact, I'll probably go with Sonic 2 on the Master System. I wasn't that impressed with that one. Sonic 1 is brilliant. Sonic 1 is better on the Master System than the Mega Drive in my opinion, but Sonic 2 is a bit crap. I didn't like the whole hang glider thing, it's just weird. Okay, which movie do you hate the most and why? I don't hate a movie. I don't know, it's hard to think of a movie that I really can't watch. Oh, actually, yeah, Transformers 2. Thinking about it, because it's the biggest pile of shit ever put on camera. It was horrendous. The dialogue was so bad. Sam Witwicky's mum, I just wanted to punch her. You know, I'm not a violent person, but my gosh, she was so irritating. That first half an hour of the film, I just couldn't watch it. It was a terrible film. And then number 3 wasn't much better, but it was just okay. Number 4 was horrendous. I haven't actually managed to finish watching number 4 yet. I've got about 3/4 of the way through it, but I've got about an hour to go, and it's just way too long, that film. It's absolute shite. It's such a bad film. Out of any underrated game, which one do you think people should play the most? Well, that's the question, Josh, because it depends what you class as underrated, to be quite honest. Oh, God. I would probably say Freedom Fighters on the Xbox and PlayStation 2, because I really don't see people talking about that on YouTube ever, and I absolutely adore that game. It was such an amazing game when it came out, and it blew my mind. So yeah, I would definitely say that people should play Freedom Fighters. I would love a sequel for Freedom Fighters as well. Who's your favourite action movie star? Currently Jason Statham, historically Arnold, easily. Thank you, Josh. Cheers for the questions, mate. Next set of questions from LFC Gamer. We've got a lot more questions than I thought this week. This is good. Okay, what news story is getting on your nerves? For me, I'm getting rather fed up that the media is still talking about the Hillsborough incident, which happened 26 years ago and won't move on. As a Liverpool supporter, I'm sick of hearing it all the time, even though it was terrible for all those that died. Don't know what to say to that, mate. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, what's annoying me more than anything at the moment? I haven't, to be honest, I haven't really watched the news all that much lately. I just catch the odd thing on Twitter because I just can't be asked to watch the news because it's just full of shit. And it's bloody depressing as well because all these people dying all the time. Because they never focus on anything positive anymore. I don't know really, what? I actually can't think of anything at the moment. I mean, it's little things like silly stories that I see that I just think they're not even newsworthy and shouldn't be in the paper. Like today in the paper, there was a story about Elton John's mum hiring an Elton John lookalike for the party because her and Elton don't get along. Well, I'm sorry, that's a personal issue that's got nothing to do with the media, and we don't need to know about that. It's irrelevant. There's stupid shit like that. Stop reporting that crap and report the things that are important in the world. That'd be quite nice. Never going to happen though, is it? Okay, have you ever had problems with the laser on either a PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2? In my opinion, the fact PlayStation 2 is paying for it, even though I prefer it over the slim one. Not that I can remember, no. I've never had a laser issue. The only issue I've ever had with PlayStation was the one that most people played with PlayStation 1. We had to turn it upside down. That was it, really. What is your favourite Madonna song? Like a Prayer. Yeah, I think there's a lot of great songs, but Like a Prayer is just a fantastic record, and I love the video and everything about that. It's fantastic. Do you still listen to some of your old CDs when doing jobs around the house? Funny enough, I was actually doing that yesterday. I normally don't, but when I made that video that I put up yesterday about my music tastes, I got all my CDs out, and so when I come back downstairs, I thought, you know what, I'm going to organise them, because they're all just sort of on a shelf and all mixed up in, and just can't find anything. I always have trouble. So I'll put them all in different genres now, so I know where everything is. And yesterday I put my Cypress Hill Black Sunday album on, and I was like, wow, yeah, that was a real good nostalgia trip. Good memories. Great album. Then I listened to Nas as well, which I can't remember what the album's called there. Oh, it's the one that's got the track Hate Me Now with Puff Daddy on it. Great album. Okay. What games have you memorised and beaten countless times? I completed Spyro the Dragon at least 20, bloody hell, and can beat it in one sitting. How the hell do you do that? I haven't ever finished that game, that's really hard. I haven't really memorised any games, to be honest. Beaten countless times with games like Uncharted or Street Fighter 2. Yeah, I just admit I'm not particularly great. I just, you know, I've beat them once, maybe twice. It depends how great the game is, really. Are you a fan of Mrs. Brown's Boys, or do you find it boring like myself? Not a fan, no. My parents absolutely love the show. I think it's a generational thing because it's very old school, and some of it's funny, but it's just, yeah, it's not really for me. Have you ever played or heard of the PlayStation 1 masterpiece Tenchu Stealth Assassins? I've not played it myself, but when it came out, my mate used to play that all the time. As you know, I don't do stealth, so that kind of like a rage game that for me. But my mate used to love that. He used to think it was fantastic. What would you like to see happen to Justin Bieber? Have Alan Shearer free kicks to the face, Ryu fire a Hadoken, or get stung by a swarm of hornets? Well, I think Alan Shearer kicking Justin Bieber in the face is a bit hard. But then you can set fire to him using Ryu, or get stung by hornets. I'll probably go with Ryu's fire. Actually, yeah, throw a fireball at a little shit. Are you a fan of Paula Abdul? Yeah, I like her early stuff. Was it Rush? That's my favourite one with Keanu Reeves in the video. I love that track. Do you hate sneezing and hiccups? Not hate, but yeah, hiccups are alright, I can deal with that, but sneezing, it's when you feel it there and then it just doesn't happen and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. That's the worst thing. If it just come out, it'd be alright, but sometimes it's really bloody violent as well. Have you ever seen Hotel Mario and Zelda on the CDI? Yeah, I have seen the odd video. I think Cinematica did a video once, and I saw someone else do a video a long time ago, I can't remember who. Hotel Mario is bloody weird. Zelda's strange, but the Mario game is weird, but I kind of think it would work as well. It'd probably be the most playable out of the two. Zelda looked a bit crap, to be honest. What was your best multiplayer moment with friends? I'd say in the past would have been the many times we used to play Mario Kart Battle Mode. You know, we used to do that. We used to go to my friend's house and drink a lot and play that. That was really cool. Other than that, was the one night me and my mate Martin and my other mate Carl, and we was playing Medal of Honor Rising Sun, and it was using the one-shot pistol. Because when you're drinking and you're playing that and you've got one shot and you're trying to reload it, it's just really, really fun. I still love that. And then there was times like when the 360 came out and the original Xbox, and let's play Halo 2 with friends, and I played Call of Duty 2 quite a lot with friends, and me and my mate Rich from work, we used to play Gears of War cooperative, which was really cool. And I managed to chainsaw me in the back of the head, so that was quite cool. What are your five favourite music genres? Metal, hip hop, R&B, pop, and reggae. Yeah, it's a toss-up between reggae and hardcore, happy hardcore, but I'd go with reggae. Or, well, not so much reggae like Bob Marley, I like all that stuff, but for me more like reggae, dancehall, bashment, that kind of stuff. Have you played any of the Super Smash Bros. Games? Only one I've ever played, I've mentioned before, which was on the GameCube. Is it Melee? I think that's what it was called, or was that the Wii game? I can't even remember which one's which. Yeah, I think it might be the Wii game, I don't know. But I played the GameCube game when I was exceedingly drunk, and I thought it was pretty decent, not a bad game at all. I've never played one since, and I really should, because I should get the GameCube game back, because I've got a Wii that plays GameCube games, just to see what it's like. But yeah, that's the only one really. So thanks for the question, mate. Cheers. Next set of questions from Mark. Sega sent me one. Thank you, Mark. First question is, if you're allowed to own a firearm, okay, for self-defense in the UK, would you own one? And if so, how does it make you feel knowing you could legally, fatally shoot someone? No, I would definitely, absolutely, 100% not own a firearm. No way in hell. I'm completely anti-gun, so no. As far as I've said before in a video a long time ago, as far as I'm concerned, guns have no place in civilised society whatsoever. We do not need them, they should not exist. Knowing I could legally shoot someone, I mean, there is part of me that says you should defend your own home, that's fine. I do think the Americans have got access to the wrong kind of weapons, personally. That's just my personal opinion. I am a Brit who can't buy a gun and has not got a gun culture, so I have a totally different focus on this. But for me personally, I don't think you should be able to have an AR-15 or an AK-47 or anything ridiculous like that. You're defending your house, you don't need an assault rifle. That's just absolutely ludicrous to me. A shotgun or a handgun will suffice. You know, use an AK-47, and as far as I'm aware, they're only semi-automatic. You can't buy them fully automatic because obviously you don't know house left. But I just think it's ridiculous. It really is, and I don't think that it's right that you should be allowed to have multiple weapons as well. You can have like 5, 6, 10 guns in your house. I've seen some of the videos on YouTube of people's collections, and it scares the shit out of me that people can have that in their house. It's not right at all, and you know that's why things go wrong. People get killed. Yeah, I mean, you've got to be able to defend your own property. I totally respect that, and I agree with that completely. I just think that if you've got a gun, it's too easy to default to that weapon. You know, a small argument between neighbours can rapidly turn into a murder because you've just, you know, anger's building up inside you. Instead of like the Brits, like us, where we just go really angry and be like, you fucking, and then walk in the house and just like hit a wall or scream at your family or your wife and say, that fucking idiot next door, and blah, blah, blah. And that'd be it, you cool off after a while. If you've got a gun, you're more likely to go for it. And I know that sounds radical and people will probably disagree with me on that one, but I feel that that's the reason why sometimes it does happen. And you know, I don't think guns have any place in society at all. We don't need them. Obviously people will say yes, but what if we invaded? Yeah, I know that, but we've got the military for that. So, I mean, in a perfect world, I would prefer a world where there are no guns whatsoever, we don't need a military, and everybody got along, which is totally unrealistic, I know, but that's what I'd like. How does Mario throw fireballs underwater? How do you go from that to this? Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe it's a scientific thing and there's some way of lighting fire underwater, I don't know, Mark, to be honest. Scientists have done research that playing a lot of video games growing up makes people who dream have the ability to wake up from nightmares knowing it's just a dream. Oh, right, okay, I didn't know that. I've actually got this ability. Have you found it resonates with you? To be honest with you, mate, I don't remember the last time I had an actual nightmare. I really don't. I don't really dream that much. At least I don't remember having dreams that much these days. I seem to just sleep and wake up. When I was younger, I used to have a lot of dreams, and there was occasional nightmares where I was being chased by gang members and, and getting in gunfights and shit. And I think that was just down to the fact that I was listening to a lot of hip hop and watching a lot of gangster films. So that was probably influencing my thoughts. But yeah, no. Other than that, I really don't have nightmares or anything. So I just sort of just sleep nowadays. It's kind of weird in a way. Are you a boxing fan? Are you interested in the Mayweather versus Manny fight? Is that Manny Pacquiao? Is it? To be honest, mate, I don't know much about boxing. I used to watch it a little bit when I was a kid, like Tyson and Lennox Lewis, but yeah, I'm not a massive fan of it. I mean, it's basically just two blokes punching each other in the head, isn't it? But it can be quite good sometimes. Have you ever hooked up a games console to a TV in a hotel or a public place? Not that I know of, no. Would a weekly video game, movie, newspaper be successful? No, I don't think it would. As I said earlier about the TV, the problem you've got is everyone's got access to the internet on the phone, and it's just the media's there 24/7. Something happens, it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube. People are commenting on it. So I mean, like magazines, I don't know how magazines keep going, because how can you possibly produce a monthly gaming magazine these days? Because by the time you produce the information, it's completely out of date. So I don't really think it can be successful now. If it's retro, then it's totally different. But if it's current gen, then no, it can't happen. If all jobs paid the same, what job would you be doing? This is because I mentioned communism last week. What would I be doing? I'd be working for MI5. That'd be it. That'd be my ideal job. I'd be really happy. I'd be a spy. I probably would. I'd probably end up being a desk jockey and not get to go out in the field, but I'd like to. If you could call yourself if you could call yourself 5 years ago, but only had 60 seconds, what would you say to yourself? Stop selling shit and keep what you've got and be happy with it. If practice makes perfect, no one is perfect. Why practice? That is a very good point, actually, to be quite honest with you. No one is perfect, so yeah, why practice being perfect when you can never be perfect? That's a valid point. What would a chair look like if your knees bent the other way? What? So they'd be up, like if they bent the other way, they wouldn't be straight, they'd be up there, like over your head, wouldn't they? So if you're like trapped on your chair like that, I don't know. I don't know, mate. That's I don't know how you even come up with that one. That's a different one. Okay, if 7-Eleven, I was getting worried then what this question was, and then I realised what it is. If 7-Eleven in America is open 24 hours a day, 365 a year, why does it have locks on the door? That is a bloody good question. I've always wondered, why is it called 7-Eleven and all? Can someone tell me that? Because I've never understood that one. Because I always assumed it was open 24/7, 365, so I figured, why the hell did they call it 7-Eleven? I can understand the 7 days a week, but the 11 I don't get. I don't know. Some Americans can tell me, that'd be awesome. Yeah, you're right though. Why? You don't need to lock the door, do you? Why do we wash? Why? That's weird. That is. Why do we wash our bath towels? Aren't we clean when we use them? Well, yeah, but when yeah, actually, you're right. We are, aren't we? That is a bit anal when you think about it, because you're right. You just had a shower, so your body's clean, so you're just drying yourself off. So technically, all you need to do is dry the towel. You don't need to wash it. That's a good point. I've never even thought about that before. Do you play games better when you first wake up, after you've eaten, or late at night? Late at night when I can relax, definitely. I couldn't play games when I've just got out of bed. I'm not a morning person. I'm a miserable bastard in the morning. What's the most video games that you've owned at one time during your life? A couple of hundred, I would think. Probably about 300 or 400. Because I know when I had the Xbox collection, I was about 220 on that. And then I don't know how many Super Nintendo games I had when I sold the Xbox collection. I'm guessing around about 80, 90 maybe. Plus I had other consoles as well. So I've been close to 400, about 350, 400 I reckon. Yeah, I think that's right. If you could hang out at one video game studio for the day, which one would it be? Naughty Dog. Actually, no, at the moment, it would normally be Naughty Dog, but at the moment it would be Quantic Dream, because I want to know what they're working on. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that would be the one. Okay, do you leave your discs in the consoles after playing them, or put them back in the case? Put them back in the case, mate, always. Never leave them in the console, unless sometimes I do forget, but for the most part, no. I take them out, put them in the game console, play them, take them out, put them in the case, put the case back on the shelf. I've got to take care of my shit, you know. Nice one. Brilliant. Thanks, Mark. Cheers for that. Right, okay. Next set of questions from Murray. Mus247365. Cheers, Murray. First question is, have you ever collected for the Sega Saturn, and is it a system you'd like to collect for? I have done. I've had a PAL Saturn, I've had a couple of Japanese Saturns, and it's a good system. I like it. There's some good games on it. I'm not really looking to collect for it nowadays. I just can't be asked. I'm just sticking with PlayStation. I was a PlayStation kid, so that's the nostalgia part. The Saturn is a great console, and I know in Japan it's got a lot of great games that we never got. But yeah, it just doesn't interest me, to be quite honest, as far as collecting nowadays. Have any of your systems ever died? My Saturn seems to be busted as it's not reading discs. Yeah, I've had systems die in the past. I had a Genesis 3 die because I used the wrong step down and blew it up. In terms of other systems, I know I have. I just can't think of which ones. But I know in the past I've definitely had consoles that have died on me. It's a pain in the ass when it happens, to be quite honest. What is your favourite Mr. Men character? I'd have to go Mr. Bomb. Yeah, me too, mate. He's my favourite. I used to have, I think it was a glass to like drink pop out of, which used to have a Mr. Bomb on it. Yeah, love Mr. Bomb. He was brilliant. And Mr. Tickle as well. Would you leave the UK to live somewhere else? Yes, I would. It would probably be Europe. France, Spain, Germany. Don't know why I'm telling you where Europe is, but that's the place I think of. Maybe the Netherlands as well, because that's a really chilled out country. Or any of the Nordic countries, because they just keep out of all the shit that goes on in the world. Yeah, that's it. I mean, America would be fantastic, but it's a scary place. So I don't know. I mean, America would be a fantastic place to visit. I just don't think I could actually live there. But it would be a great place. And probably America's so vast as well, I don't even know where you'd choose. It'd probably be in the South, because I like the South. Mainly because it's just so beautiful. Not for the casual racism, obviously. Right. God. Anyway, next question. Are there any regular YouTube videos that you look forward to seeing? Yeah. Let me see. Right. I suppose you mean like series, so it'd be like Waffleage from Daz, Conis, Deloro. Always like watching that video. And it's mostly because most people that I watch don't actually have like a regular series of videos I can think of. Daz is probably the only one that does those kind of videos. Most people just do pick-up videos, and I always look forward to videos from people like Jay Cybersnake, obviously Retro Dave Nintendo, Blue Tonic 78, Shen Muso, Shock 16. All the people I normally watch really are just absolutely fantastic people, as well as great YouTubers who make great content. But yeah, in terms of actual series, it's mostly the stuff that Daz does with his Waffleage videos, because I really like watching those. I've lost track now, where are we? Okay. If you found a bag of cash, would you keep it or hand it to the police? Hand it to the police. Even there's been times in the past where I've seen people drop money and handed it in. It's the right thing to do. I would like to think that if someone saw me drop some money, they'd hand it to me as well. Or if I lost my wallet and I had a load of money in it or important documents in there, they'd hand it into the police. That's just the way I brought up, though. That's just what you do. So yeah. Would you date a robot? You mean like one of them sex robots? Depends how advanced they are. If it's just for companionship, then it's a bit weird, but yeah. I don't know, it depends what kind of... Probably not, no, it's a bit too weird, that is. Have you seen the movie Her? Still not seen it. I keep meaning to watch that, and I haven't got around to watching it. I keep meaning to buy it on Blu-ray, actually, because I've heard some really good things about that. So yeah, maybe one day I will get around to it. That's Joaquin Phoenix, if you remember right, isn't it? Or Joaquin. Never know to say it correctly. Anyway, cheers, Molly. Alright, got some questions from Ben, Shen Muso. These will be interesting because he doesn't ask them that often, but yeah, there's nothing too political. Have you ever tried to play a Japanese game in which you need to be able to read the text? I brought a couple lately and kind of apprehensive about the work I need to put in to fully appreciate it. No, I ain't been, because I don't play RPGs, mate, so quite frankly, I'm quite alright, because all the games I play have usually either got a little bit of English text, or if they've got Japanese text, you can usually work out which one's start game. And normally, if you just keep pressing start button, it just goes through it anyway. So no, I haven't found one yet that I can't play. Except for, when I think about ActRaiser, was the only one that stumped me a little bit, because once you do the action part of the game, you've gone to a map and you have to do some stuff on the map. And I had to ask Skunkworks Zero how to do it, because I couldn't understand what the hell was going on. So probably that's the only game actually when I think about it. Can you recommend 3 original Xbox games that were surprisingly good, underrated gems? Ooh. Jesus Christ, off the top of my head, that's hard. Brute Force, because for some reason people give that a kick in. I actually really like the game. It's a third-person action game, a lot of fun. And it's an exclusive as well, which is good. That's definitely one. So that's Brute Force. 2 more. God, it's really hard when you put on the spot and your brain just blanks on you, it just freezes up. I don't know, what else is there? I can't think of any other games that are really that amazing. I don't know, to be honest with you, man. I can't think of any others. That's really stumped me now. I don't know why. My brain's just completely given up on me. I'll have a think, but definitely brute force anyway. It's a great one. How many times do your viewers have to ask if you're going to a convention before you finally come and meet us all? About 100 times. Yeah, I will get there eventually. It's just, unfortunately, it's not practical at the moment, but I mean, there will be a time when I can actually do it because I really want to meet up with everybody because there's so many people that I need to meet. It'd be really good to hang out and have some beers and chats. Yeah, in terms of bloody Xbox games, I'm really stumped on that, mate. I mean, I'll probably take Rally Sport Challenge as well because no one ever talks about that game. And you have to like rally games, of course, but I personally really love that game. And even though it's cross-platform, I'd still say Freedom Fighters because I want everyone to play it because it's such a fantastic title. Cheers for the questions, Ben. Okay. Next set of questions from Dino Roberts. Thank you, Dino. Okay, let me have a look. So number one, is there a video game series or studio you religiously follow or collect for? Personally, I love the games that both Naughty Dog and Hideo Kojima create and cannot wait for Metal Gear Solid 5, Uncharted 4 and Silent Hills. Yeah, I mean, the only two that I would really say I would follow are Naughty Dog and Quantic Dream because they're the two companies that really fascinate me at the moment. Naughty Dog seems to be on a roll. I mean, they've always made great games, but they seem to be just knocking them out of the park in the last few years. You know, with the Uncharted series and Last of Us, they're really, really on top of their game. Quantic Dream, I just absolutely adore them. It is a niche thing. It's a very Marmite company. There are a hell of a lot of people who do not like what David Cage does. Me personally, I'm definitely on the other side of the fence, and I absolutely adore everything that he does. I think he's fantastic, and I love his company, and the games they put out are mind-blowing. So yeah, those are the only ones. I should really follow them on Twitter if they're on there, because I do follow Neil Druckmann, and I think I'm following the Naughty Dog account, if I remember rightly as well. I love the Tomb Raider, Wolfenstein and Shadow Warrior reboots. If you could resurrect a dead franchise, which one would it be and why? I would bring back Soul Reaver or Dino Crisis. Nice choices. Which ones would I buy? Well, the first one I'm going to bring back is what's over there, Medal of Honor, because that's on the back burner at the moment. EA haven't completely cancelled it. They're just looking for the right story and the right team to work on it. So I'm hoping to God we're going to get a new Medal of Honor, and I hope it's not a complete reboot. I would like to see the characters from the 2013 game and Warfighter come back because I really like those characters and I thought they did a great job. I mean, they can always reboot it and do an amazing job, but I'd just love to see an extension of that storyline and bring some of those characters back. If we go way back, well, yeah, what would be really good to bring back in there? I'd say because most of the key ones have been redone and they've done really good jobs on them. And we've got like Doom 4 coming out at some point. Probably a good RoboCop game would be quite nice these days. We haven't had one of them in a long time. Yeah, in fact, when was the last time we had a good RoboCop game? There was the 16-bit games were decent. The 8-bit games were decent. There was that one on the Xbox which was bloody awful. So yeah, RoboCop definitely. I'd like to see get a reboot and get something decent for that. I was going to say Shadow of the Beast, but that's coming out on PlayStation 4 and they're doing that again. Probably Ikari Warriors, because I love that kind of top-down run-and-gun shooter game. Now, Ikari Warriors, Commando, Rambo, Mercs, those kind of games. Any of those would be fantastic. Oh, and also Final Fight. What was I thinking? Of course, Final Fight, that's the one. That definitely needs a reboot and a proper one. Not like that terrible Streetwise game that came out on the Xbox. That's crap, that was. Is there any console exclusive you think would have worked better on another system? I think Killzone would have been better on Xbox. Well, that's an interesting question. Maybe Gears of War on PlayStation, done by Naughty Dog. That would have probably worked a lot better. I mean, it's good anyway, but it wasn't great. It was just okay. Killzone, I can't stand that franchise. I liked it on PlayStation 2. It was good, but Jesus, man, the rest of them so boring. But yeah, it probably would have been better on Xbox when you think about it, because Xbox is king when it comes to first-person shooters. I only collect games that are mint and complete, which makes collecting my older Nintendo games stupidly hard and expensive. Oh yeah, I know your pain there, mate. Do you also feel this pain, or are you a little more relaxed with your collecting? Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long you've been watching my channel, but my Super Nintendo games, it was a pain in the arse to get some of those because I was really anal about condition. I wanted them as mint as I could possibly get them. Over the years, I've relaxed that a little bit, and I accept that you need to have a little bit of wear on them. I also think because there's a lot of fake boxes going around, it gives it more authenticity as well. And it also looks like someone's actually played it as well. They're not supposed to be museum plate pieces, are they? We're supposed to be enjoying these. But yeah, I've definitely relaxed a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. What do you think of the Retron 5? The collector in me hates anything aftermarket, but the rest of me absolutely loves the look of the machine. Have you considered picking one up? I did consider it originally, but I'm just not interested now. I think the concept is a good idea, and especially if you're someone who hasn't got room for a CRT TV and you just want the convenience of playing your retro games in one box, so you can't because you haven't got the space of the console setup as well. You just want the games set up in one box on your modern TV with upscalers and scan lines and all that. I personally don't see a problem with it. I think it's a good idea. Me personally, I won't be buying one. I don't need one. I've got a game room with retro console, so there's no real benefit. It'd just be like pissing money out the wall if I bought that. So yeah, I won't bother with it. But yeah, it's a cool concept. What is your guilty pleasure film, video game and hobby, if you have any? Mine are the Hunger Games, great series. Dynasty Warriors for the games, ooh. And for hobbies, I enjoy painting Warhammer 40k figures. That's different. Guilty pleasure film. I don't like the term guilty pleasure normally because I just like what I like. But I mean, I suppose what someone classes guilty pleasure would be like 13 going on 30 with Jennifer Garner. I love that film. Absolutely brilliant. Games, that's hard. I'm trying to think what I would play that most people would say are crap. Probably the Medal of Honor games, to be quite honest, because they seem to get a panning, even though they're actually really decent games. Hobby-wise, no, I haven't, to be quite honest with you, mate. Because, I mean, you all know my hobbies, really. I mean, it's gaming, music, and films, so that's about it, really. Okay, are there any games yet this generation that have totally blown you away? Even though I loved what Crytek did with Rise, so did I, fantastic game. And what Ready of Dawn did with the Order 1886, another great game. I still think no game has lived up to those 2013 E3 predictions, presentation, sorry. Talking of E3 presentations, for me the PT was the best thing I've played, experienced so far on the new consoles. Yeah, you're probably right, mate. I mean, to be honest, at the moment, it's a case of there's some good games, but there's no great, stellar, must-own console-selling games out there at the moment, as far as I'm concerned anyway. As you say, like, Rise is a great game. The media hated it and panned it, but it's a great game. It's really fun, and it looks gorgeous. Same with the Order 1886, it's getting a panning. It doesn't deserve the panning it's getting. And I think, from what I can see, the majority of it is because it's David Cage-esque with the exploration and the reading of the documents and picking up items. And a lot of people don't like to do that. If they want to cover shoot, they're just running away and kill everything. Totally respect that, because I get annoyed by the fact that stealth gets shoehorned into every single game, including the Order 1886. It winds me off, because if it's a cover shooter, it should be a cover shooter. But I think if it enhances the game, then it's okay to put the elements in. I just don't feel stealth ever enhances a game. It just makes it bloody boring for half an hour to an hour. So yeah, I do think at the moment there aren't any games that are really blowing my mind and just going, you know what, you have to buy a PlayStation 4, you have to buy an Xbox One. The only reason I own the consoles is because I wanted a PlayStation 4 just because I knew that the games were going to come eventually, and that Sony, as always, as they proved last generation especially, they're going to have fantastic exclusives, so they're going to come. You might just have to wait a while. Xbox, I only bought it because there were games I want to play coming out, like Quantum Break, sorry. Rise is out already, which I've already played and loved, and Tomb Raider is exclusive to Xbox. Whether it's timed or not, it's exclusive to Xbox for the time being. So I want to play Rise of the Tomb Raider, so I've got no choice, I have to have an Xbox. But yeah, at the moment there are definitely no consoles selling games whatsoever. But it will change in the next 12 months, I reckon. So cheers Dino, thanks mate. Okay, let me see, any more on this page? Right, that might be the last ones on this page. Let me just check. Right, okay. So next questions are from Amy Lou. So thank you, Amy. And her first question is, what are your thoughts on VHS? Were you a fan of them and do you miss them? I personally love VHS and still get a little sad when I see them in charity shops, car boots, or come across them in the attic. My local car boot in Cheddar has got shitloads of VHS. There's a guy in the, there's an indoor market part, and he's got like a store of CDs and stuff, and he's got like wall-to-wall VHS. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I always, in my mind, VHS was a terrible format. And I remember from when I was a child that the quality was crap, and when you pause it, it does all that stuttering and everything. But I watched in fact, I watched Masters of the Universe recently, like the cartoon. And last year or the year before, I watched Terminator on it. It isn't as bad as I remember it being at all. It's actually reasonable. It's obviously nowhere near DVD and Blu-ray standards, but I mean, it's quite cool. I'd never get into collecting it, by the way. I've got enough going on series, but yeah, I mean, I think it's quite an interesting thing to collect, and the boxes look really nice. They've got nice artwork, and they're nice when all stacked up. The only issue I've got is like when I went to get my Masters of the Universe tape out the other week, and it got jammed in the video player, and I was like, if you don't get jammed in the VCR, I can't be dealing with this shit. And it's probably just a one-off, but yeah, it's an interesting format anyway. Okay, and you've mentioned that you like writing a few times. Would you ever consider making a blog or exploring a field in writing? I blog personally have been for about 5 years. I've had 2 blogs during that time, and I found it a great way to explore your writing and passion. Yeah, as I said before, it is something I really need to do. The problem I have is motivation and pushing myself to do things. I always find that really difficult, which is a pain because, quite frankly, you should just do it and see what happens. You know, I always say that about YouTube, just try it. So I really should try and do a blog. It's just, the thing is trying to think how I'm going to do a blog and what I'm going to talk about. Do I talk about my daily experiences? Do I review games on the blog? Do I combine it all? I don't know. I don't even know where to begin, to be quite honest with you. I mean, if you could give me any advice on where you'd even start a blog, that'd be fantastic, because I'm pretty clueless, to be honest with you. So thank you very much, Amy. Thanks for the questions. Next question from Tom Britton. How do you afford all the cool stuff you have if you've got no job? Thanks, Tom. Basically, mate, it's simple. I just sell stuff. I sell stuff to fund other purchases, like most retro game collectors do. It's the only way you can do it, really. Even when I'm working, I have to do that sometimes because, you know, I never get jobs that earn enough money to be splashing the cash around a lot. But yeah, that's generally what I do. I mean, recently I've done the same thing. I've sold some PlayStation 4 games because I was getting an Xbox One, and I decided I want to use the Xbox One as my main platform for cross-platform gaming. So I sold Wolfenstein 2 Raider and Watch Dogs, and I used that money to fund the rebuying of those games on the Xbox One. So yeah, that's all I do, really. And same with the retro stuff. If I'm losing interest in something and there's something else that's caught my interest, I'll usually just sell the console and the games that I don't want to play anymore, and then use that money to fund another console that I do want. And I might buy that other console back in the future, who knows, but that's generally the way I go about doing it. Okay, and the last questions are, or is it question or question? I'm not sure, I mean it's a question. It's from Sega Neophyte, so thank you for the question, mate. And he asks, I assume it's a he. Okay, I think I've heard you say that you enjoy cycling. Yeah, I do. What is it that you're into, mountain or road, mountain biking? And what is your bike? God, I have no idea. I can't remember what it is, to be honest with you, mate. I'll be honest with you, I picked it because it looked nice. I don't really know much about bikes inside of the technical side, so yeah, it was just a nice looking bike. I often download videos like this to MP3 so I can listen to them when I go out on my road bike. Do you find it a bottomless pit of temptation, like game collecting, as there always seems to be a new bit of kit I want for the bike? To be honest, Ben, I haven't got into it yet, thank God. I literally just do it for exercise at the moment. I haven't got like into actual cycling, because I always fear if I was to get into like a cycling club, which, you know, has been a thought in the past, that would be an issue that I would, because like everything, then you say you're going to start looking into it and reading up on it, and there'll be all these little gadgets that you can buy and little bits that you can add to your bike to get better performance. Yeah, it's more money down the tube, like you're saying, like with retro gaming and everything else. Do I really want to get involved? So at the moment, I literally just have a basic bike just to get around. I only do like about a mile or a mile and a half when I do it, and I'll be doing it again soon. I've got to push myself to get back out there because I've got really fat and I need to get this weight off me. And luckily, it drops pretty quick once I start cycling, so I need to do that. So there you go. That is the last question of this week. So if you guys have any questions for me, please remember to leave them in the comments down below. The cut-off for questions is always next Wednesday, and the new response will be up next Friday. So thank you very much for watching, guys, as always. Please remember to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next Friday.